Right. So there's obviously stuff that's going on behind the scenes, but the students see this. So they don't have a whole lot that's over here, which is again one of the features, and a lot of stuff happens automatically. You know, office hours and things like this just kind of show up for them to tell them where they are and where the latest ones are. So the landing page was just basic information about the course, where we meet, a link to the syllabus, and then since it's a really large course, 500 students, so much of the pain points in the course is logistics not being clear. So really that first page is to describe to them exactly what they need to do when. So if they need an excused absence, there's a TA to provide their rationale for. There's requests for homework and quiz extensions, again with documentation. So there's just a lot of explanation of who you go to for what, so that everyone can focus on what, as we in economics say, their comparative advantages in the course. So that's just so they see this from day one. But really, what they end up doing is they end up going to modules. That's everything happens there, and so in each, so I have a module for each time we meet in class, and it'll say in preparation for this class, here's what you need to do. So they needed to set up this Quickly app that we talked about on their phone, because we needed to test that before drop add ended. We start taking attendance for real after drop add ends. So by then we want to make sure everybody has it and it works well. And then they have some videos to watch. I created these videos and host them on YouTube, so they're just links to the YouTube videos. And then they take a quiz. And in my case, I've written enough quiz questions so that the quizzes are a random draw on the quiz pool. And they are not meant to be high stakes tests, they're meant to actually be learning tools. So the students typically will rush through the modules, go to the quiz, do really terrible on it, but they get to take it as often as they want to. And each time they get a new random draw. And they really actually learn the material a lot by trying to get that perfect score. So this is where we can leverage Duke students' attempt to get perfect scores on things they can get perfect scores to, because everybody can. They can do it as long as they need to. And so then that you see that basic structure for each of the class meetings, except now after the first class, we actually provide the recording for the previous class meeting, because the quizzes also test not just on what was introduced in the new video modules, but also what we did in the previous class. And the reason I do that in this class, I don't do it in my follow-on class, but this class is a pass-fail class. So the whole goal of this class is to keep them engaged continuously, so that they come to class prepared, they can engage in the ideas, and we keep that going. And so this is just sort of a way to keep them engaged and to keep them to build their skills enough to really engage well in class. I learned how to do that for my pass-fail class. The next class is not a pass-fail class, but I still am using exactly the same structure, even though we're going to have exams because we have to give grades. So I've learned a lot in terms of how to do this, whether it's a pass-fail class or not. So you can see we end up having visitors to the class. So we give them some background, we give them a quiz on, make sure they know a little bit about who's coming to visit the class, so that they can engage effectively there. And it really just keeps going like that throughout the course. And occasionally I'm not in town, I'm at a conference. So we have an asynchronous class where we actually have guest speakers that were visiting the class in a previous iteration of the class. So we can still do something on those days. But but otherwise you can see it looks fairly uniform, and they really get just used to the rhythm of this. There's no, after the first 2 or 3 lectures and class meetings, there is no more question in their mind. You don't get questions about what are we supposed to be doing for next time. There are no reminders necessary. It's just all there, and they get used to it. So this to me is the biggest strength of Canvas. Of course, we've got the gradebook that just gets populated. You get, of course, can group things in ways that keep letting students know exactly how they're doing in the course. And here's just a quickly attendance from their side. They can see what their attendance records are, make sure that they're accurate, make sure if they've requested an excuse that's been noted, so that in case we miss something, they can alert us to it. But that's the basics. It's really quite simple, but the consistency pays off.